it's your girl Meesh. Welcome to another episode of Luv Meesh, where I share my thoughts, opinions, and ramblings, and sometimes I'll have guests over, but no subject is off limits. It's a billion people in the world, and I'm one of them. So welcome to my world. Let the conversation begin. Hey, loves, and welcome to another episode. And tonight we have a special guest. Special guest. Why don't you tell everybody your name, how they can reach you if you like, and how we met?
Hey y'all, it's Afua Nsowaa. I can be found on Facebook through my business page, Love, Light, and Alkaline Eatery. Also on Instagram, or if you're interested in anything herbal, holistic, medicine-wise, you can follow me on Facebook at Afua Nsowaa Healing Ministries LLC. You can
Yes.
www.lovelighteneating.com, and that is my website for my alkaline vegan meal prep and mobile food vending business. How did I meet? How did I meet? Oh, I think through Darnisha.
Yes.
Okay. So I met Meesh through her sister Darnisha. I believe she recommended you for meal prepping or something. I can't really.
That was the first one.
Yes.
Yes.
Remember your little spicy attitude the first time.
You know what's so funny? You're talking about, I'm not going to play with you. It's so funny.
I remember. But yes, girl, we don't meet by accident. Everything is stayed. When I met you, you were interested in meal prepping and just seeing the journey, from the start until now. Yes. It's just amazing. Just being able to watch your journey.
Awesome. And so I'm going to pick up on that a little bit more, but I do want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. You take time out of your personal time, your family time, hubby time, to be able to minister to me and the people that I'm touching through the podcast. So I do thank you so very much. And you know what I always say, you come across people in your path, whether it's family, coworkers, strangers, or friends. And if you pay attention, you might gain a friend, a new family member, or perhaps a significant other. So you know how they say people are a blessing, a lesson, a reason, or a season. But it's funny how specific life choices, except for birth, can guide you into meeting these people. So again, I would like to say I'm so very glad we met, and I'm sure we've talked our heads off before. So this time we're gonna do it on air. Alrighty, so I said that I would mention how we met. Miss Charita, I think you are such a jewel to me. I met you, as you mentioned, through my sister Darnisha. I started going vegan, and she was like, I know somebody that does meal prep. She brings them to my job. And so that's how she, put your name out in the atmosphere for me. And then fast forward a little later, I got some very upsetting news from the doctor. And then my sister advised me that I can see you again, that you help with all types of healing. And boom, I made the appointment with you, and you told me all about the herbs and how to eat raw and how our body heals itself, and that you've even healed people in worse conditions. So I was so relieved by you, but more so upset with the doctors because they did not advise this at all. And since then, I've attended your vision board party, and I definitely checked those things off. And I have had my chart read by you, and it was definitely true. And I just passed Basic Astrology 101. Woo! So happy about that. And I also joined your Sister Circle group, which is amazing. It's such a spiritual, uplifting, motivational group. And lastly, I just joined the Susu payout. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yes.
And this is so interesting. You all put money in a pot, and everybody takes turn getting the money. Like, hello, where has this been? So I have just learned a plethora of things in the short amount of time that I met you. So I am so truly glad that universe allowed us to cross paths. And I am so happy to share the world with you tonight. I really do feel that you are an earth angel. Alrighty. You are so welcome. So we have a couple of questionnaires or discussions tonight. And you can go as light or as deep as you like, but I think I mentioned this to you before, how I want to adopt, and that is something that you're familiar with. So could you tell us maybe the ugly truth, good or bad, or your story as far as adoption?
Let me just say this.
Okay.
I don't have much experience as far as adoption. I've
Okay.
never adopted. I actually spent 18 years in foster care. So
Gotcha.
I can tell you about foster care. However, I was not ever adopted. Now, I'm not going to say that they didn't try to, get me in a place or get me a home or mom or a family that would adopt me. But at that point, I was 16. No one would be adopting me at that point. So that's why I didn't take that route. But I'll just tell you about my experience in foster care pretty much. Basically, both of my parents were drug addicts. My father's still alive. My mom's not, but they were drug addicts. So assuming that is the factor that actually led to me being put in foster care, not just myself, but all of my siblings. Well, not all. My youngest sibling has never been to foster care. Now that I think of it, she stayed with my grandmother, my mom's mom. But yes, I'm assuming I, originally was put in foster care because of my parents being addicted to drugs. I will say it was a very, very challenging experience. For one, when you're young and you're taking away from your family, it doesn't matter, if they weren't perfect. It doesn't matter if they were doing drugs. You don't see any of that. As a child, you're innocent. You only see this is mom, this is dad, this is aunt, or whoever. I'm not going to say that no child will see any wrong, but mostly you can see. Even when your parents hit you, you would run right to your mom, right? Even if she was the one who just whooped you, because you're a child, you're innocent. You want your parents, regardless. Unless it's some real trauma. And my parents never physically abused me or anything. And when I say parents, I'm more so specifically speaking of my mom, because I do have memories living with my mom when I was younger. I do not ever remember my father at all. I don't have any memories. But as far as my mother, I have memories where I actually lived with her, and I was never abused or anything. I don't have bad memories from with my mother, other than knowing that she was on drugs and I had to go to foster care. And that's when my trauma really started, being not only taken away from my mom and my biological environment, but being taken away from my siblings as well. So you grow up in a certain place with your mom and your siblings, and then you move into a place where it's perfect strangers, pretty much. It's strangers. And in my case, with my mom having so many children, we all got split up. My mom had 13 children. Yes, we all got split up. So it's very traumatic. Even when you get to care, you would think that, they're taking you from somewhere, and they would definitely have to be putting you somewhere better.
Yeah.
However, personal experience, I can't speak for anybody else, but through personal experience, all of the time that I spent in foster care, I've only had one home I would consider good. One home where I wasn't either abused physically, sexually, or mentally in some way. And again, as I stated, I didn't even experience that with my mom. So yes, my mom was on drugs, but to take me out of that environment and to put me into an environment that, in my eyes, was much worse, that was very traumatic for me. I ended up being in foster care until I aged out. Like I said, at age 16, my caseworker had came to me, and it's like, there's this lady in Tallahassee. She's willing to adopt you. And by this time, I already had my first child. I had my first child at 14. So Puka was 2 at this time. And I just like, no. Intuition. I've always been a very intuitive person. And intuition said no. Whatever reason, I'm not doing that. I'm 16 at this point. I'll be 18 in 2 years. No. Glad I followed intuition, because literally a year later, this same woman that was going to adopt me got arrested. So even if you have a good heart, if you have good intentions and you want to help, almost 100%, and this is a study that they did, almost 100% of children who age out of foster care are dealing with depression, are dealing with mental illness. They end up homeless because you don't have a support system, or they end up in jail because they're doing things to survive at this point. So, to that you put, would I want to adopt in the place that I'm in right now? No, I would not. I wouldn't consider that a good idea for me, for the simple fact that I'm still healing my own trauma, and foster children that need to be adopted are also going to come with their trauma that they need to heal from. And can't mess up anybody else's life. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like if they screen foster parents better, if they screen these adoptive parents better for their own past trauma, you wouldn't have so many kids that end up getting taken away from their parents and end up in worse situations in foster care. And again, that is exactly how it went for me. Out of all the homes that I stayed in up until 18, there was only one foster home where I was not abused. One. And this is the year. One.
That is horrible.
It's one, and it's because I guess you have people, out there who want to help, but the majority of people that are out there are not healed themselves. You can't help anybody else. You can't help them heal through anything, grow through anything, unless you're healed yourself. Okay. You're gonna always parent the way you were parented. So, for instance, one foster home that I was in, her mom, and I know because her mom was still alive, she, made them just do crazy things. She would discipline them in crazy ways, like with water hoses and things like that. And I'll be darned if that's not what she tried to do to us. Even if I believe in her heart, she wanted to help. That's why she became a foster parent. But within frustration, you parent the way that you were parented. Period.
I see.
Better screening and everything like that when it comes to foster parenting, because honestly, I would have rather just live with my mom being on drugs.
That says a lot.
Yes, because my mom never abused me. My mom she never cursed at me or anything. My mom was always nice when she talked to me. She never cursed. She never verbally abused me. She never hit me. Never physically abused me. I didn't have to go through any of that until I went to foster care. She never sexually abused me. She was just on drugs. She just, had her own problems.
That is so very true. So with that being said, then I think I answered that question. If you feel everyone should adopt, then no. Because if you haven't healed yourself,
you need to heal before you go taking on other people that need healing. Okay. Period.
Gotcha.
I feel like you need to heal, period, before being a parent, but we know life is a journey. Never fully heal. But before taking on a person that is going to come with trauma, you can't have that trauma too. Okay. You have to heal yourself.
Gotcha.
Before you can take it. And if they're in foster care, trust me, they're already, even if they've never been abused, like I said, just being taken away from your biological environment, what you've always known, that's traumatizing in itself. That's separation anxiety. I didn't get to see my sisters from the time I got put in foster care up until I was 15. I didn't get to see them. I didn't get to talk to them. I didn't know what was going on with them. And I had to live with them every day of my life until I got put in care. And then in the blink of an eye, I'm living with perfect strangers who I know aren't my family, and I have no idea where my own family is. I have no idea where my siblings or anything is.
Oh my goodness. I see so much wrong with that. And I just hope that it will change in the future. Visits with your siblings would be helpful. I can imagine that's why you're angry and lashing out. Like you said, you're with strangers. You don't know where your people are. And it's just like, wow, I can't even imagine. But thank you so much for helping me.
Girl, it's so hard. I can see both sides. Trust me.
Okay.
Just being in foster care, because you have millions of kids in foster care with nowhere to go.
Yes.
So when someone calls and say, "Hey, I'll take them," what do you do?
Yeah, give them to them.
What do you do? So I just think honestly, the way to start is to start with the babies.
Okay.
Start with the baby.
Okay.
Train them up, help them heal their trauma so that they won't grow up and repeat the cycle. 90% of kids that go through foster care repeat the cycle, and their kids end up in foster care the same way.
90.
Stop. You can research it.
Oh
It
my God.
start with the kids and heal them. It's harder healing the adult. It's harder trying to tell an adult what to do when they have so much free will and they can just do whatever they want. It's hard to try to change an adult. It's so much easier to start with the children that are in foster care, the children that are going through traumatic experiences with their parents, whether they're in foster care or not. Help them to heal at an early age. Help them to break the cycle so that when they are of age and they have children, they don't repeat that cycle. Their kids don't go to foster care. This is the way that in a couple generations, we can see great progress where you don't have millions of kids in foster care. Mm-hmm. I feel like orphanages and foster care should be for kids who really need it. Kids who maybe their parents have possibly died and they just don't have anyone, or, orphans, things like that. But for the most part, we just got to crack down, do better with the kids so that there's not millions of children in foster care each year.
That is so true. I agree. Because if you start with the kid will be an adult, and the adult would have helped themselves to stop the cycle. So you're right.
Yes, and they won't repeat that cycle. So if their children don't go to foster care, then guess what? Their grandchildren more than likely aren't going. And then so on and so on and so on. And this is why I have the KIP for Youth organization that I have, which is the foster care awareness organization that I have, which basically was implemented to educate and empower teens in foster care on all of the independent living skills that they would need to be successful as an adult when you're coming from being in foster care all your life and having support from the government, the system, or wherever you want to call it, to as soon as you're 18 and the money stops, guess what? Bye-bye. And you have to go. So that's what I do. I try to teach independent living skills, teach budgeting skills, teach how to heal through your trauma so you don't age out of foster care and end up on drugs, because it's hard. It's hard being 18 and having the weight of everything on your shoulders and not having anybody to fall back on, not having a mom or a dad to, if you fall on hard times. All of those things are hard. I know. When I turned 18, I got out. I had nowhere else to go. They put you out. I had to get my own place. I know it's hard. So this is why I'm educating the ones now that are in foster care so that before you get to the age of 18 and find yourself with nowhere to go or find yourself depressed, before you even get to that point, you can start now with recreating a better future for yourself. And that's what KIP for Youth is about.
That is amazing. So if I wanted to find out more about that organization, where would I go?
You can go to www.kip4youth, and that's K.I.P for youth.webs.com.
Awesome. So we're going to transition over to another question. And that would be about your journey with Dr. Sebi. So it's as soon as I heard about Dr. Sebi, started seeing all the memes and stuff, next thing I know, he's gone. So that was my, that's how I bumped into Dr. Sebi. But what was your journey, or how did you, who introduced you to Dr. Sebi, or how did that start?
Fate, girl, fate. I was just having so many stomach problems. This was 2013. Yes, because it was before I had Princeton, and he was born in 2014. So this was 2013. I was just having stomach problems. It got to the point where, like, every time I ate, my stomach would be upset, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? I can't keep going on like this. And I love especially pork, girl, pork chop, bacon, all that. I was a meat eater, definitely a meat eater. Never really ate vegetables. I would eat like green beans or something, but for the most part, I was definitely the meat eater. So I go to the doctor one day. I'm like, I bet not be crazy. I don't know what. I'm just sick to my stomach. So of course I wasn't pregnant, and the doctor, it's a Indian woman. She actually recommended. She said, you know what? There's nothing wrong with you. You're probably just having a reaction from the food. I recommend you go vegan for a little while and see if that helps. So I left there like, oh, child, vegan. I can't. Tell you how life works. I left there and I'm sitting home and I'm scrolling my Instagram page. Now, mind you, up until this point, I had never ever heard a word about Dr. Sebi at all. And I'm scrolling my Instagram and I'm all about my people. I'm all about Black people. So I see a Black man. Somebody posted Dr. Sebi, and it's a Black man and he's older. And I've always been attracted to older people as well because of the wisdom that they bring. Like, I just love. I'm like, why the heck have I never heard of this man? And then I just started doing my research like that same day. I can't even tell you who posted it, honestly. I can't even tell you. I literally just saw it, clicked on it, and then started Googling. And I'll be darned if overnight I didn't drop that pork and everything and never look back. That same day, I dropped every single piece of meat and never looked back. So I called. This is when he was alive. I called the center. And I talked to one of the reps. I had my consultation, and they recommended that I purchase this package that was $350. I knew it was meant for me to purchase the package because when she told me the price, I didn't even flinch. Now, I ain't just giving nobody no $350. I didn't flinch. So that was my cue to just follow. I told you I've always been intuitive. That was my cue to just follow my intuition and go ahead and purchase the package. I purchased the package for the $350. When I got the package, of course, I followed that thing to the T. I wasn't wasting my $350. No. So 100% I followed it to the T. And oh my God, the changes that I experienced in my body, I think it was, the package was good for 30 days. But the type of person I am, and this is the same type of teacher I am, I'll get the knowledge once, and then after that, I'm doing it myself. I ain't giving you. Seriously, I took the 30 days for the $350, but within those 30 days, I was doing my own research. So I wasn't giving them another $350. I started making my own herbs after the first 30 days. And within 3 months from the first day that I took my first herb from the cleansing package to the last day that I took the herb that I made for myself, I was able to completely heal my vision. I went back and checked. I have 20/20 vision. I have wore glasses all of my life. I don't even know what my vision was. I just know I wore glasses and couldn't see, but I don't wear glasses. I was able to heal my vision for 20/20. Whatever the stomach issues I was having, that was gone. Like overnight after the cleansing package, that was gone. What else? I was having really bad back pain. Don't know what that was about, but that was gone. Just feeling lighter, feeling healthier. I believe I lost. Now, the one thing that did discourage me is I was about 160 and I got down to 109 pounds. And it was very discouraging because, especially in the world we live in, and especially for Black women, we don't want to be 109 pounds. Like 109, girl, I was like, oh my God. But I kept going for the simple fact that I saw how good it was for my body. Oh, it hurt me so bad when Dr. Sebi died because I was supposed to go to the Usha village that same summer.
Oh my goodness.
And when I found out he died, I was just so distraught because I'm like, there's no way I could ever go if he's not there. Yeah. There's no way I could ever go. So I didn't get the chance to meet him. And I was so sad about that, girl, because everything that I do now and everything that I've been doing since 2013 has basically been, from everything that I learned from Dr. Sebi. So it was very unfortunate. However, just now having the knowledge and the information for myself, I feel like the only thing that I can do is just continue to carry on his legacy and continue to practice the things that he practiced and teach the things that he taught, and just all of that stuff.
That is awesome. So Dr. Staby came into your life, taught you the different skills. You use those tools, and you're turning around and teaching others. So you mentioned in the beginning your businesses. So how, more specifically, what products do you offer? Probably from what you learned from Dr. Staby, or that you probably learned from your other research and that you're incorporating into your businesses.
Most people won't say this,
Uh-huh.
but the biggest thing I learned from Dr. Sebi was to get out in the field and do my research. Get out in the woods, to not pick up no books and read. Telling you in the books, yes, I ain't read no books about wild foraging or gardening at all. I really haven't. I got up, I went outside to the woods that was across the street, and I started experimenting. I started trying to learn how to identify different plants. And that is what he was very big on that. And most people miss that. He even said himself, I'm only one man. I don't know everything. Get out in the field, learn the herbs where you are in your region, learn those wild herbs. And that's what I did. That's what I believe that's what set me apart from other people. I don't just want to make a product and sell it to you. I want to actually know from experience, not because Dr. Sebi told me that Kazacara bark helps with mucus. I want to know that it helps with mucus by getting out in the field, taking the herb myself and seeing what it does for my body. And through that, I learned that it doesn't only help with mucus. It helps with so many other things. So to answer the question, I'm currently rebranding. So my current business was Seeds of Melanin, Holistic Wellness. And what I did was basically create cleansing packages and detox packages for anyone pretty much aspiring to cleanse or change or live a healthier lifestyle. However, I am more on a path now of being to others what Dr. Sebi was for me. So I don't want to make you a product. I want to teach you how to go out in the field and figure it out for yourself. Because on this journey, I've learned when you give a person something, they take it for granted. They take it for granted. You can't just give someone something. They're not going to hold it at a high value as were to create it and make it themselves. If they put the work in themselves, they hold it at a higher value. When you do it for them, for some reason, I'll never understand it, but it doesn't mean as much. They don't take it as serious. So that's why I'm currently rebranding, and you can find me on Facebook. I'm actually getting my new website built now, but it's Afua Nsowaa Healing Ministries LLC. And I am basically going to just be focusing on workshops, classes, seminars, and things like that to teach you how to handcraft your own herbs, how to stop buying from StarWestBotanicals.com, because I don't care what processed at that point. That's why I like wild herbs and wild foraging, or even purchasing a seed from Medicinal Seeds. I think that's what it's called. No, I think it's strictly medicinalseeds.com or something, and starting your own herb from a seed versus going to Star West Botanicals and buying for them. In the beginning, that might be fine, but to whom much is given, much is required. And when you know better, you do better. These people don't care nothing about you. They care about, hey, everybody's on herbs now, so let's pack it up and sell it to them. The herbs that they put in our process, trust me. That's why they packaging it and putting it in plastic. It's still processed. So my goal is to help people to transition away from that, away from having somebody else do it for you. You don't know what these people are doing. You don't even know what I'm doing to your herbs if you ask me to make it.
That's true.
You don't know that.
That is true.
So my goal is to pull you away from that and to help you be self-sufficient. Help you to learn on your own. And not saying you can't read books. Read the herbal book. Get all the studying you can, but do not forget personal experience. Don't just read something like most people who call themselves herbalists now. That's what they do. They read something or they watch a Dr. Sebi video and they'll just repeat it. How do you know it's true? Just because Dr. Sebi said it? I love Dr. Sebi. But I had personal experience with every single thing that Dr. Sebi said before I vouch for it as well. I will never tell somebody that I can heal them from AIDS. I will say I believe I can help you heal from HIV and AIDS, but I cannot tell you 100% just because Dr. Sebi said that. I can tell you that I believe what he says.
Okay.
I haven't healed anyone from that yet. I haven't helped anyone heal from that yet. Gotcha. So I won't tell you it's possible. I'm not that type of healer. I'm not that type of herbalist. I'm not that type of person. I base everything off of personal experience, either through myself or through one of my clients. I can tell you that herpes easily cured. I've had several clients heal themselves. I can tell you that warts easily cured. I can tell you that all of this other crazy stuff that you think is not curable, it's easily. I'm not going to lie and tell you that you can, I'm 100% sure you can heal your HIV. I can't tell you that. I can tell you I believe it's possible just on the knowledge and the scientific evidence that's out there. But I haven't seen it done personally. I've heard how Dr. Sebi has done it. Have I met him? No. Do I think he's lying? No.
Gotcha.
But am I going to tell you 100% that I'm sure? No. I'm going to tell you, try it. What else do you have?
And you did. You told me that. I remember you were saying you gotta learn this on your own. What you gonna do when I'm gone? You have always encouraged. And people are money hungry, businesses. And for you to say that, that means that once I learned, then business would stop. That means that you're doing it from your heart. It's not about the income. And I've always appreciated that about you. I was like, well, wow, she wants me to learn on my own. It's not about the money.
Yes, girl. I believe life is preparing us for something. I don't know what it is, but I believe that there is going to come a time where you are going to have to know. This is not going to be information that, oh, well, I guess I'll learn today and maybe not tomorrow. Your life is going to depend on this sooner or later. So coming to me for information ain't going to help you. Because what if I'm not here? What if the other healers aren't here? What if the herbalists aren't here? You have to know for yourself. And then everybody is different. I've had some herbs that will work well on one person that the other person will have a reaction to. So this is why you can never look at herbalism or self-healing or any of that as a whole. You look at it from an individual standpoint.
Individual. Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much. That was amazing. So we're going to transition again into another question. And this was something that I heard from you. I never heard anybody else say anything about a me book. So your point of view, what is a me book and why should everyone have one? And what goes inside of the me book?
You call it me book. I'm thinking you're talking about how I say your book of shadows.
Yes. Okay. Book of shadows.
For me, seriously, sis, I'm not a person that's trying to fake a journey. And healing for me means I truly want to heal. I don't want to be on Facebook or just talking to my friends saying I'm conscious and I've healed. I actually want to feel peace in my heart. I don't want to be living in turmoil. So that's how it started for me with the Book of Shadow. I wanted to find out everything I could possibly find out about myself spiritually, as far as astrology, as far as Chinese astrology, as far as numerology, just as far as everything as a whole. There's so many different things: religion, spirituality, numerology, there's so many different things. And me being the person that I am and being on the journey that I'm on, I found out that there's truth in all of it. So I wanted to know the truth about me in all of it. So I literally just started tracking it down, girl. Like, okay, my life path number is 8. I write that down. Then after that, once I studied astrology and I figured out my DNA codes on there, I would just write all of that down. Even at times where I forget something, I can always go back into my Book of Shadows about myself and say, oh, okay, yeah, retrograde happened during that time. Wanting to dig deeper into my past and heal past trauma also was a very, very big point in me making that Book of Shadows, because one of the things that are in there, I literally wrote down every year of my life from the time I was born. I have a page for 1988 and so on. Oh my God. Now that's 2019. And even though I may not necessarily remember from a child's point when I was born, I know, okay, I was born July 29th, 1988. I know my mom was on drugs, so I know I was born with drugs in my system. Bim, that's something that I wrote on that page. This is just ways of me helping me get to the bottom in the truth of who I really am at core, outside of all the physical stuff, outside of all the things that I go through. I want to know, I don't want to just react. I want to know why I react the way I do. I want to know why I'm triggered by certain things. I want to know why certain things hurt me. I don't just want to cry about it. I want to know why so I can fix it. And that's why I did that book. I don't even know if people do this. I don't even know if this is a thing. So I never heard it from nowhere else either. I just simply did that for me. And then, of course, me being the person I am, I did it for me. And I said, now let me help my kids and save them from being 30 years old and trying to figure it all out at 30. So guess what? I created one for them. I pulled their charts. I created the Book of Shadows for them. They have future dates. When my daughter goes through her Saturn return, if she looks in her book, she's going to know the exact date that her Saturn return starts. She's going to know when to look out when certain difficulties are ahead. She's going to know, okay, the day might not be a good day to be going out doing this. She's going to know. I already created that for not just her, but for all of them.
That is so awesome.
I pretty much just keep everything about myself, because I know that was the question, like what's in there. Everything. My favorite color, my life path number, every time I've ever got a reading from anyone, anything that they've said, the date of the reading, anything significant, anything. From, like I said, from birth to now, the day I graduated, the day I had my first child. And by doing that, guess what I also learned? I told you I had my first child at 14. By doing my Book of Shadows, I realized that was my half Saturn return. Saturn return is your hard moment. At 14, that was my half Saturn return.
Oh my goodness.
I had my daughter. So it's a guide, and it basically helps you. It helps give you a better understanding of yourself, pretty much. When you start to repeat cycles and you don't know why, realize how important the Book of Shadows is. Okay, well, last year on this same date, I was going through the same thing. Literally, you'll start to see patterns and cycles, and then you can't move past something that you don't understand.
Yeah.
Or move past something you don't understand. So if I'm not even understanding why I'm repeating the cycle, it's going to continue to repeat. And the only way for me to understand it is to get to the bottom of it. What's triggering me? Why am I here yet again at the same point? And the only way to really do that is by writing it down, journaling. You can call it what you journal, Book of Shadow, whatever. Even if you just write it down, it's a way to really find out, yourself, your triggers, what makes you happy, sad, mad, all of that, cycles. That's it just helps. And you can pretty much keep whatever information you want in your Book of Shadows. It's personal. It's with everything that you feel you should keep in your Book of Shadows, keep it in there. Your favorite color, your goals, your everything, just everything about yourself. I even have all of my mom's information. I pulled my mom and dad's chart. And I even have that information in there because regardless, that's my lineage. That's where I'm from. That's my life. Regardless of if I grew up with my parents or not, generationally, the curse passed down. Period. It just passed on from generation to generation until someone finally stands up and says, I've had enough. And I feel like I'm that person. I'm my mom's 7th child. That's another thing that's in my Book of Shadows. You got to take everything into consideration. You know what 7 means. Lucky number 7. I truly feel like I am breaking the cycle for my kids. I truly feel like that. And it's hard because healing is painful. It's not easy. It's so painful to realize certain choices that you've made. It's so painful to have to accept certain things that happened to you when you were a child. You can't be a victim though, but you want to say, I was a child. How did I cause this? How did I bring this upon myself? How did I attract something like this if I was an innocent child? You can't do that. You can't set yourself apart from anything just because you're a child. You can't be a victim just because you're a child. And that's hard to accept because you want to. You want to say it's not my fault. It's someone else's fault. But truthfully, you knew this before you even got here.
Oh my gosh.
I signed up for this path, however hard it is right now, for whatever reason. Something in my soul and my spirit was like, oh, I want you to, okay, Angela, you going to be my mom. You're going to be on drugs. You're going to die before I turn 18. That's going to be the hardest thing for me because the whole time I'm going to be in foster care. I'm going to be saying, hey, when I turn 18, I'm finna move out, get back with my mama, help her get her life together. And bam, life going to hit you real hard at 16 and say, she gone. Imagine how hard that was for me. If I be a victim, if you put yourself in a situation to be a victim, you will not get anywhere in life. Nobody's going to feel bad for you, especially as an adult. Nobody's going to feel bad. You literally have to pick up and just move on and heal and know that you signed up for the path. And that's the one thing that brings me peace when I think about, especially my past. It's so hard to deal with the past because you think about, like I keep saying, I was a child. I didn't do nothing. It's hard to accept that. But it brings me peace. And the way I accepted it is knowing that I signed up for that before I even got to physical earth. That was my soul karma. My soul knew that this would be the best experience for me to get to where I am. Had I came into life as, as somebody else or as something different, who knows? Maybe I'll be on drugs too right now. Maybe I would have repeated the cycle just like both of my parents. Who knows?
That is so true. And that is hard to accept, but that is so true.
It's hard, but eventually you get there because being a victim doesn't feel good anyway. So who wants to be a victim?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good sitting there, oh, well, me, was done. That doesn't feel good. So however hard it is, once you heal and move past it, it gets easier, especially when you learn to accept the fact that you signed up for this. And I know I signed up for it when I put me and my mom's charts together and interpreted that, when I put me and my dad's charts together and interpreted that, I know I signed up for it. My mom was a Sagittarius. That's a fire sign. A Leo is a fire sign. That's me. My Saturn is in Sagittarius. And remember how I always talk about, I ain't trying to give a lesson on your show, but you know what Saturn is? Saturn is that tough
love.
burn, that discipline. My Saturn is in Sagittarius. It's going to be tough for me dealing with my maternal trauma. Sagittarius stands for my mom. To this day, I always attract older Sagittarius women who love me just like they're my mom.
Oh my gosh.
I've never met a Sagittarius woman that I don't get along with, even if I don't know they're a Sagittarius until afterwards. And then I'm like, oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. So life will compensate for where you feel like you've been shorted, but you have to be willing to accept the compensation. You can't say, well, I don't want them because she's not my real mom. You can't do that. You have to just be able to accept what life is giving you and move on. And like I say, I accept Sagittarius women all the time. Like I just attract them and they're always uplifting. They always just try to, like, even unconsciously, they're always motherly figures in my life. I don't know if they know it or not, but that's what it is.
That is beautiful. So one last question, we'll transition. So I think you mentioned you had a Christian background. Well, or maybe, okay. So with the Christian background, we all know, because I recently opened my eyes. I learned a lot. I love my foundation. I'm thankful, but I had blinders on where it was, one way only. So now that I'm looking at everything, I had a question. So how, with the Christian background, were you so open to magical world, spells, different things like that? When we were raised Christian, it's such a, one way, this way, or not at all. So how did you kind of get over that hump?
I think for me, it wasn't hard at all because I'm a Leo. I do what I want. I don't care if I'm Christian. I don't care. No, I'm serious. You know how I am. And I think that's why I'm never afraid to change my mind, giving new information. I don't care if it's about religion. I don't care if it's math, science. If I get information that makes sense, I'm going to say, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I'm going to research it. And if it makes sense, I'm going to say, okay, yes. So for me, I grew up, girl, a devout. Oh, there is nothing that Christian in this world could try to debate with me about the Bible, because I was put in the church from day one up until 16, 17, 18, 19, whenever. You know, I went to choir rehearsal. I went to youth department meeting. I had to get up and do Sunday school devotion. Even when my foster parents weren't going to church, they were sending us to church. I know the books of the Bible in order. New Testament and Old Testament, because this is the stuff, this is how I was raised. They tried to brand me with that, girl. Like they, you know how the Christians was. I know both sides. I do not, the only real issue that I have with Christianity, honestly, now being on both sides, is that it does not teach accountability, self-accountability.
Yes.
And that's with Christianity. Everything else is pretty much saying the same thing as all spirituality and religion. But it was definitely not hard for me at all. When I met my husband in 2004, he was never Christian. His family was hard to vote Christian. He was never Christian. I'm like, okay. I said, okay, this is going to be my task. Let me try to get him to go to church. Now, he's a Taurus. So Taurus are
full-headed.
Never. In all the years from 2004 up until, when did I stop? Up until like 2010, he just wouldn't go to church. I kept, even his mama invited him, I invited him, he just wouldn't go. He wouldn't go if his mama told him, if I told, just nothing. He just didn't believe it. He said it just never resonated with him. It just never sat well with him. So maybe he was the catalyst unconsciously that, you know, helped me get out of it. I don't know. All I know is one day I was sitting here and I watched, that's what it was. It was the book The Secret, but it was on YouTube. I was scrolling YouTube and something said The Secret, and you know me, The Secret. I want to know the secret too. What's the secret? But it wasn't even that helped me. Once I clicked on The Secret, I watched that. But the next video that came on was the Hidden Colors video. I had never even heard of Hidden Colors, but that was the very next one that popped up. Hidden Colors 1. And of course, it started talking about the slave ship named Jesus and all of this. So I'm like, oh, I'll be damned. So of course, just continuing to do my research. And again, just like the doctor said, overnight, I'm not a person who gonna linger. If I have facts that change my information, I'm changing it. I'm changing my mind, period. So overnight, literally after researching a lot of stuff, I said, oh no. And then I began to look back over my life. Honestly, this is how it went. I said, okay, I've been going to church. The pastor up, putting his hand on me, praying for me. And, all right, if you get this $100 today, God gonna. But I'm still going through the same shit.
Yeah.
Why is that? Then it got to the point where it was like, you know what? Because you're the God. Nobody's coming to save you, Charita. You have to save yourself. And I think that's my issue for a long time. I felt in my heart that because I grew up in foster care, because I had such a bad childhood, that surely Jesus, God, was going to make everything better in my adulthood. Surely, right? Why not?
Right.
I was born into this world. I had no choice. I was born into this type of childhood. So in my mind, even without me putting in any work to change myself, even without me not trying to change anything about myself, not trying to heal or anything, I felt for surely something just gonna fall out the sky. Surely an opportunity just gonna come my way just because I've been through so much already. And that's what Christianity does. It takes you to your lowest point and have you be so desperate and so despair, crying to an invisible God, and then just keep repeating that cycle. Because they don't tell you, nobody's coming. It's up to you to change it. Nobody's gonna save you if they don't tell you that. So for years, I sat there waiting for a miracle. Seriously, that's what I was waiting on. Give me a miracle. until I woke the hell up and, okay, girl, you don't get your shit together.
Yeah.
Because he...
That is true. I agree.
And honestly, that's when everything started changing for me, when I let go of that Christianity. I don't care what nobody say. Listen to my Tamala man, still listen to my gospel.
Yeah.
But as far as the Christian values, no.
I got you.
As far as the Ten Commandments, no. And it makes me wonder, why would one of the 10 Commandments be thou shalt not cheat or thou shalt not steal? And you ain't got nothing in there saying thou shalt not molest these children.
Yeah.
It starts to make sense once you stop being so dumb, girl. Like, literally, like, come on. If you had to choose 10.
Wow.
10
oh, my God. I'm about to drop the phone.
One thing that has always been prevalent is pedophilia.
Yes.
Why wouldn't...
Number one.
Even if it wasn't number one, as it should be one of the 10, right?
And
that's what really did it for me. That's what really, because I've been through that so much of my own molestation. And I'm sitting here like, damn, God, you ain't care about that? But you care about if somebody lied to you or put another God before you? That sounds stupid. That sounds like you mad about jealousy, but you ain't mad about innocent children being molested. No. And then that's when literally, like, girl, just like I said, more information comes and you just move on and you just keep finding more information and you grow. And I still even read the Bible sometimes, but when you read it from a different perspective,
that's what it is. Yep.
You don't have those same issues. When you read God with you in the Bible, when it's saying I am, if you say I am as in you and not someone else, it makes more sense. It makes more sense. If you read the Bible from a standpoint of knowing it's a story, like anybody else who write a book, everything ain't gonna be real. It's a parable at that.
Yes.
Some things are parables. Some things are not meant to be put out there in light for you to understand. Some things are meant for you to go research and dig deeper.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know about Lilith.
Oh my God, I just saw a video on that the other day. She's evil, this, that, the other. Oh my God.
No. Lilith was the truth, honey. And that's why they ain't mentioning her in that Bible. They want women to be obedient, and that's not what Lilith was saying. So, yeah. I suggest anyone, even whether you're Christian, I don't care, be Christian. Whatever you need to do to survive in this world, girl, it is so much. We will be depressed if we don't find something. Okay, you have to find something to believe in. So if you want to be a Christian, it's not hurting anyone. It's only hurting people when you try to impose your beliefs on them. But if you truly just want to abide by the Bible, then you do that. But the thing is, even the Christians don't abide by the Bible.
I know.
But that's my thing. Do that. Do whatever you need to do to cope. If believing in Jesus keeps you from being depressed, believe in it.
Gotcha.
Until you grow to a different perspective. I'm never going to tell nobody not to be Christian, Muslim, whatever, because it doesn't matter what you are. None of it matters. All of this is physical stuff. None of it's real. It's not who you are. It's all man-made. Religion is man-made. Everything on physical earth is man-made, and it doesn't matter. So it's not as serious as people think. Let them be Christian. Let them be Muslim. Let them be whatever they want, as long as they're not imposing on it. As long as they're not using their religion to kill, steal, hurt other people, then believe what you want. If you want to go to church and, give your $100 a week, do that, if that's what makes you happy. But this is what I will say, and I said it earlier, to whom much is given, much is required. And this is why people suffer, because they get the knowledge, they get the information, and they don't apply it. They don't do anything with it. They stay stuck where they are. They can read Hidden Colors. They can read all these things, and they'll feel in their heart that it's true. And they'll still stay stuck, and they won't apply it. And this is why they suffer. Because when you don't know, you're not held at the same standard as someone who knows. But once you have that knowledge, you are held accountable. And this is why I tell people, this is not a race. Don't be so quick to get there, because you got to put in work. You can't just say, I know this. and then don't apply it, because at that point you're going to suffer. Like people who know they're supposed to eat better and don't. This is why they having diabetes, cancer, getting diagnosed, because you knew better.
Yeah.
And you chose not to do better.
Absolutely.
So guess what? Life gives you what's the lesson you need.
Yeah.
It's going to give you anything to try to get you to see, okay, remember when I tried to tell you 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, well now, can cancer wake you up?
Yeah.
But sometimes
it don't.
It don't matter what comes your way. Sometimes some people just going to have to come back.
Yeah, that is so true. Oh my goodness. I think that's kind of what happened to me. 2 people had died in my life, and I was learning about veganism and how, you could cure cancer. And I just felt so bad on myself. Like, I finally found the answer. They're gone. Oh no. And then it was like, okay, well, if you can cure cancer, why are we going and asking the pastor to pray for us? And then pastors are coming up saying that they have cancer. Okay, well, why didn't the congregation know? And why was this such a big secret? If you're praying for people every week, then can't you just easily pray for yourself? And so then the doors just kind of opened, and I kind of felt like, I felt bad for God. Like, we're up there saying, give me a piece of cake, and you got all the ingredients in the kitchen. And I kind of feel like God's like, go get it your damn self, to be honest. That's kind of how I felt. Go make it yourself. You have everything that you need to go make the cake. Why are you asking me for the cake? So, it is true. Accountability, self-accountability. And
even Jesus says in the Bible, okay, I can quote the Bible. The shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. Yeah. I know all of them, okay? He even says in the Bible, all of these things that I do, you too have the power to do them as well. So why do people not believe that? I don't know. He even says in the Bible, it is not me. It's not me who's doing this. These are not my works. But yet people praise Jesus, even though he tells you, do not praise me. Do not honor me. It is not me. It is our Father in heaven. And if you know the etymology for what heaven means, above, the firmament above, that don't necessarily mean a physical place where angels reside in heaven. But people don't. They read the Bible and they don't. Jesus said that. He said, don't follow me. Don't listen to me. It's not me. These are not my words. These are my Father's words. I come from him. I am sent by him. He said, not me. But you hear people all day. Thank you, Jesus. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Why?
I realized that too. Oh my goodness. I think my sister mentioned that too. Oh my goodness. Jesus, 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 and Jesus saying God.
Yeah, he keeps saying God. And God is you. God is your I am. Even when they ask him in the Bible, who is God? Who are you? He said, I am all that I am. What does I am mean? That's the greatest affirmation that we have as humans. I am. And that's who God says he is. So what does that mean? I am. Me, right? I am.
Me.
That means me. That means we are all gods.
Wow.
But if a person refuses to see themselves as a god, if they see that as some type of insult, then, that's the life that they're going to get. That's the life that they're going to get.
Well, you are full of so much knowledge and jewels. I don't want to end, but I'm going to have to invite you over again. You have so much knowledge. I can't wait for the new... I know, right? I can't wait for the new venture to begin, because that was needed for me. I'm such a buyer. Oh, I'll just go buy it. No, you need to do the work yourself. You can't always rely on people, and then I'll be able to pass it down. So I cannot wait to see your new business open up so I can sign up for some classes and become self-efficient. But I was mentioning we have to end it somewhere, or we'll talk all night. So I do want to thank you so much for joining the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation with Miss Charita. So until next time, bye. And this concludes today's conversation. Thanks a million for listening. You can reach me on other social media platforms at www.linktr.ee/LUV.MEESH www.linktree/love.meesh. I hope you have a better than great day. Love you. Talk to you later. Mwah. Bye.